Welcome into the weekend sports buzz. Myself, Tyler Boyd, Mark Blankenbaker. We're back here in studio. We missed last Saturday. It was snowy.
It was snowy, and Tyler, I got a text early in the morning. We're not going to do a show. It's snowing outside.
It's snowy.
I was like, it's not even that bad. It's not
I
even
texted
that bad.
Matt. Matt's like, what's it like? I'm like, it's snowy. Do you want to do the show?
I wasn't mad at it.
I was actually. This is the first show we've missed since we began doing this, and it wasn't.
What
having a Saturday off for the first time in a long time wasn't bad.
It was nice.
It was okay.
We should do it in like June or May or something like that.
Snow day in June.
Yeah, snow
Christmas
day
in June.
because there's nothing going on. I felt like we had a lot. It was Super Bowl the day before the Super Bowl.
Well, luckily I was here on Sunday, so I got to talk about the Super Bowl.
But I didn't.
I'm sorry.
So whatever.
I'm sorry. It's just who cares about the Super Bowl anyways?
I just wanted the 49ers to pick because I picked them in the beginning of the season. Like,
did you?
They were my choice to win the Super Bowl, and I wanted to tout that as like something. But they lost, obviously.
It'd been good if you touted that when we could have played it back. You would have had to told us. We could have probably found it.
We could probably still find it.
Matt?
Go back into the archives, probably in August, maybe September.
I'm sure it was like the week of the season.
Yeah, it was one of the weeks leading up to it.
We'll go back and look at it just because I don't know if I believe you.
You spend all your time going back and looking for it.
I have a lot of time on the weekends. I don't, just usually free. But, yeah, we got a lot to talk about today because obviously we have two basketball games going on. We're in the heart of the conference play now. Kentucky's taking on Auburn at 4 o'clock. On that, we're going to talk to our guy Larry Glover from Larry Glover Live. Everybody knows who Larry is. He's been around the Kentucky program, the industry forever. He's going to join us at 9:40. And then in the second hour, we're going to talk a little bit about the Kentucky Extreme, the football league, about to get kicked off. I'm correcting. First game is either tonight or tomorrow night. I'll have to pull up the thing. I know it's this weekend. Brent Adams, their media guy, is going to join us just to break down that a little bit. I'm looking here at Mark, and he's reading one of the past crime times here in Louisville. It's the Christmas edition.
I'm having a really good time reading this, to be honest with you. And I'm not going to say any names, but, like, I know a couple of these people.
Do you really? Because me and
DUI
Kelly went
section.
through this. Me and Kelly from the Sunday show, we bought this right on Christmas week during our Christmas show. We just want to know if we saw anybody. We didn't know anybody, so they're lucky.
I'm going to have to subscribe to this because
it's in Thornton's or whatever gas station is.
I see a couple of faces here, and I'm reading the DUI arrest.
$1.
It's $1.
It's $1.
But, yeah, I mean, there was 85 the week of the January 7th edition, and I know a couple of these folks. We're not going to say any names. But
no names.
I'm like, whoa.
It's cool.
Well, it's
not cool for them, but it's kind of fun for me to laugh at. But I mean, call me that guy. But, again, Brent Adams.
Bring it up in conversation next time I see these folks.
Exactly. Hey, man, I saw you in the paper.
I saw you in Crime Time.
I saw your name in the paper. Remember, when you were a kid, you used to try to get your name in the paper?
I know. Now I have to go through all these archives because this has just been the best morning ever. With this.
You just walked in and you saw the crime times here in the KentuckySports.co compound.
Exactly.
That's good stuff. And then Louisville, Mark, if I'm correct, they play at 9 o'clock. I know they do play Notre Dame.
They do at 9 o'clock, and they're actually having college game day today in South Bend, Indiana. They're having a big production. Starts on ESPNU.
Manti Te'o, will he be in this production?
Yeah, I think that they should bring out Manti Te'o.
Why not?
Because the last time ESPN did a big to-do up there with UK, that was his whole platform, and we didn't even worry about the basketball game. It was all Te'o.
That's all you heard was Dick Vitale and them talk football.
Will they even bring it up this time? Will they even bring it up?
They will not bring it up one time.
Starts at 10 o'clock on ESPN.
He won't be on the front row pounding his chest, screaming.
And then at 11 it moves over to ESPN, and then they're going to do something again tonight at 8 o'clock.
And you won't hear Te'o at all.
No, and I bet you don't even hear a word about it.
Not one word about it.
And that's that journalistic integrity that I've been talking about with ESPN for so long that they just don't have any. It's just like, yeah, let's pump this up, something happens. Nope.
No.
If we like these people, they love Notre Dame.
Oh, they love Notre Dame.
They love Notre Dame.
It's a Notre Dame Rayfest.
It's
Duke and Notre Dame.
Right. They're not gonna ruffle Notre Dame's feathers because they want that next contract. But the deal is that this Louisville game with Notre Dame now is a Big East game, but in 2 years it'll be an ACC game.
Yeah. Didn't Bray say just over the week they're going to stick in the Big East next season?
Yeah, they are. Both schools will be sticking, which is weird because the Catholic schools, the Big Priest Conference, that's going to split away.
I hope that's the name of it.
They're going to try to split away this summer. So next year's Big East may be one of the worst conferences ever
in both sports.
Yes, it might honestly.
It might be downgraded to the
lame
MEAC.
it'll be the most lame duck conference in the history, like because they won't even have good officials.
Louisville's definitely going undefeated in the football season, but that's not here or there.
Well, I think
in conference.
Well, yeah, I mean, you still got
conference.
Central Florida, you still got South Florida, you still got Cincinnati.
South Florida, I'll give you them.
Cincinnati won 10 games this year.
Yeah, you're going to beat them again.
I don't know, man. I mean, yeah, I would hope so.
We're not going to talk about that.
I know you don't.
Let's stick right with the Cards and basketball.
I thought you guys liked. I thought you UK fans
were
all
gonna
about
talk
football.
Well, it's on the slate today. It's on the document.
Okay.
We're talking. It's signing. I know signing day was over the week, but we're going to talk about it today
All right.
because I'm excited. I haven't been this excited for football on February, what is today, the 9th, in 26 years.
I like
my existence.
I like it.
Okay, so but let's stick with your Cards first here. I know they have the late night game. They have the big game, the game day game. South Bend, the crowd's always crazy. We know this. Louisville and the Goatee seem to always go back and forth. The Goatee's not there, but his twin sister, a.k.a.
They all look the same.
They all look the same. I can't watch Jack Cooley.
Jack Cooley. Even he
looks
like
just
a hair
like
and
Goatee.
It's like you hang out with a hair and goatee and you end up with this weird haircut. And I met actually Luke Herringotti's dad at Freedom Hall.
Did he look just? You
knew
who it was.
Last year that they played. Oh, obviously. I mean, he's dressed up and he looks like Buzz from Home Alone. That's what they all look like. They all look like Buzz from Home Alone.
Buzz from Home Alone. That is awesome. I have never heard that.
No, I mean that's just what it is.
You nailed it.
You look at him and it's just like it looks like Buzz from Home Alone. Well, anyway, this looks like Buzz from Home Alone's dad. And we're in the restroom, and everybody's, like, talking to him, and I'm just, like, looking at the guy. And then we end up, like, bumping into each other and on the way out, and it's just, like, he talked to me. He was really nice, but they all look like Buzz from Home Alone. And I think it's weird that they all look the same. I mean, even their mom looks kind of like that. So, like, is there only one haircut style in the Herringotty household? And is Jack Cooley, like, an adopted son of the Herringotties?
And that's
sister. Why he looks like them.
He really does. I'm kind of looking at the overall series here between Louisville and Notre Dame. It seems the Cards lead this one 18-11. Pretty close in
They haven't won
history.
up there in a long time.
They split their last 6. Last year they split as well. Notre Dame beat the Cards in the regular season.
And they all go into overtime. They all go into overtime.
Double overtime for that one.
Right.
Jack Cooley had a double-double, but then obviously Louisville paid him back in the Big East semis, knocked him out of the Big East tournament. Which was a huge run for Louisville.
Last year, Louisville was on a roll when they went and played Notre Dame.
That was the team you didn't want to play other than Kentucky at this time of the year.
Right, and it was in January, and I actually went to the Bellarmine game that day because I felt that good about the game. And then
was it the same time?
Over. Yeah.
You didn't even see the game.
I watched the second half.
Okay, that's fair.
I watched the second half.
I was going to say, you missed one of the better games of the season for your Cards.
I was supporting my dad's field hockey head coach ever at Bellarmine. I was going to support his program. So I was there for that part, and it kind of ran into the Louisville game a little bit. So I missed a lot of it.
No, it's fine, but I'm excited for the inside game. You got a good matchup with Cooley and Zhang. Cooley is right now he is 14. He's averaging 11 rebounds a game. That's a big number. He's ranks 3rd in the nation in double doubles.
Yep.
5th in rebounds per game in the country.
Well, like the one thing that Jack Cooley does that gives folks problems is that he just keeps going. Like he doesn't ever stop the
Goatee
play.
motor.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like the play's over, but he's like still like going after the ball, and he is really good at not fouling. Like a lot of players, when they just keep pursuing the ball, will foul. But Cooley's really good at not doing that. And, he's got good size. He's 6'9", 246.
Oh, wow. That's a big – everyone knows he's a big dude, but I didn't know he was – I thought he was a little taller than 6'9".
6'9", and then they got Tom Knight, who's 6'10", 258. So Gorgie's going to have a little height advantage, but when you put Bohannon in there, then, Tom Knight's going to have a little bit of an advantage over Shane. So I kind of think maybe Montrezl Harrell might get a little run
That kind of
today.
leads into what I wanted to talk to you about. It's not actually, I put it on the document late last night. I don't know if you saw it.
No.
Shane Bohannon versus Montrezl Harrell. Where's the minutes? Who should get those minutes?
Man,
you know where I'm at. I told you, everybody that's listened to our show before the season started, I said Montrezl Harrell should start.
This is a topic that a lot of folks have been talking about, like, kind of behind the scenes, and like Louisville fans, and like how like
no what? Louisville fans are out there. It's out there now. Just follow Twitter.
It's definitely out there. We're like Louisville fans. Why isn't Montrezl Harrell playing over Shane Bohannon? And because Montrez has better points per minute, better rebounds per minute,
he
better
hustles
blocks per minute. He doesn't drop the ball.
He doesn't miss dunks.
Well, part of it's the defense, and then yesterday in the press conference, Rick Pitino actually said, if I bench Shane Bohannon, it will kill his confidence.
Well, wah, baby.
But what he's saying is that Montrezl Harrell coming off the bench for him, he's fine with that because that's what he.
I understand that.
He's like, that way I can keep both guys.
Yeah, but don't you want more minutes from your better player? And
Right.
Montrezl Harrell is the better player.
I think so, and a lot of stats support that. But then what stats also don't support are like defensive rotations and like stamina, things like that. So like maybe Montrezl is just not like a 25-minute-a-game guy. Maybe he's a 15-minute-a-game guy, But what we're trying to figure out is like, how do we get him on the floor more? And they try to do that with him kind of coming in for Gorgie at times, but he's not a center.
Okay, now let me ask you this: what Rick said makes plenty of sense. They're both happy, so why mix it with their mess that up?
But you could at least play him 20 minutes.
But where's his minutes when he's playing good? Last game he came in and he was dominant. You're out.
Right, yeah.
Rick yanks him when he plays well.
He sparked the entire run that happened in that game. It was amazing. It was like a 30-4 run.
And Montrezl Harrell started and created half of that, if not, and then he got yanked.
Yeah, it was amazing.
It's like, good job, Montrezl. Back to the bench.
Montrez. Yeah, I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. I know people have asked him that, and he's kind of danced around the question and not really given a straight answer.
He's a smart kid.
But yesterday, Pitino just said basically, Shane, if I put him on the bench, his mental state is not going to be good for even bench play.
I don't think you should. He's coaching you, Rick. Come on.
Right.
Don't. You're Rick Pitino. You are the man of the biggest cojones in college sports as a coach.
Biggest cojones?
When you're coaching, against you don't like playing freshmen. You're good. You know what I'm getting to.
Is cojones like a
marbles?
If that FCC thing? I don't even know.
I don't see why not.
Okay, we'll roll with it then.
I don't think Douglas hit the. I didn't hear Trevor come on saying no. So
okay.
I think we're clear.
We're good on cojones.
We're clear on cojones. 384-1450 on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline. If anybody wants to jump in and get in on the talk today, obviously we're talking Louisville right now. We're going to get into Kentucky here in a few minutes. And, of course, you can listen to us in crystal clear on our app. Download our app and listen to the Sports Buzz in crystal clear digital quality. Search 1450 to Sports Buzz in the iTunes App Store or Android Market. It's powered by InsureMax. Call Chad or Alan Hennessy at 479-4085 for all of your home, auto, and life needs. Listen to the app every morning on the way to work, while I'm working with Mason Myers. I listen, and it's good. It works very well. It comes through clearly. So download the app if you have an iPhone or if you're an Android member.
I'm nervous about today's game, though.
Are you?
Yeah, because it's always a tight game with Notre Dame. It's always overtime. I feel like it's always like, a 4 to 5 point game in the end. And, that Mike Bray, like, I don't know. It's like always got these guys that can hit shots.
Mike Bray's one heck of a coach.
Yeah, they're the highest field goal percentage team in the Big East. I don't know. I mean, I just don't. I'm not feeling great about today.
Let's go to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline before we hit our first break here. Our guy Carolina's on the line. Carolina, good morning.
I agree 100% with y'all. Shane Bohannon should be picked, and Montrezl Harrell should be getting the minutes. Harrell is a better athlete. He has a better attitude, and I tell you what, if he stays with Petito, he might have made a mistake. His senior year in high school, he was offered a full ride by NC State to be a defensive end on the football team.
Wow, I did not know that at all. That would have been incredible to have him late in the year because Louisville needed some defensive ends towards the end of the season when B.J. DeBose was out on suspension. So, that could have been real nice. Could have batted down some balls.
I know Carolina is obviously a proponent of Montrezl Harrell, as he's been since he entered campus because he is from Hargrave Military, which is in the heart of Carolina Steve land.
From Palmer, North Carolina. He's not from Virginia.
Excuse me, Carolina. Excuse me. I was trying to give I knew he was from your area a little bit. Anyways, I think I said it preseason. I've watched his highlight clips. He is a man among boys for his age. He is a specimen. Like you said, his head is on his shoulders.
He's a really good kid.
He's a really good kid, and I think he will be fine. Yeah, he's happy. He knows this is his position next year. That's his start, right? Am I wrong, Mark?
No, I mean, I would think so. I feel like as long as Shane doesn't,
He's gone.
I don't see how he goes. Like,
how does Archie go? He's going.
Well, Archie's a guard, okay, and he has this body type.
I know what you're saying.
Guard. Shane is a 6'6" power forward.
I'm with you.
I don't see the NBA beating down the door.
He's so ready to go. You know this. Patino's already. I know. Never mind. I'm going to hash what I was going to say. Patino said this.
But we just have to do. Consider the marketplace. Is there a marketplace for a 6'6" power forward?
Carolina, let me ask you something. A topic of the week. We're going to talk a little bit more about this later in the show when we're getting wrapped up. But controversy.
I'm probably going to wait till tomorrow to talk about it. Because y'all on basketball, but the signing day was just a terrific day. Now, you're not going to believe this, but I sat down and like 6.5 hours of ESPNU on signing day.
I think maybe the entire state did.
I think most college football fans did, actually. You weren't alone.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Hey, Carolina, Steve, what did you think about Ole Miss getting just recruit after recruit? Did that seem odd to you?
Very odd to me. But I expected him to get the number one recruit because his brother's a linebacker down there.
Yes.
And plus, he failed on the Clemson Tigers. That's who he had originally committed to. So I figured that he was going to go to Ole Miss.
Yeah,
I mean, other guys were just surprises. And it leads you to wonder. Their head football coach, I think, had only been a head coach like a year or two before he came to Ole Miss and everything. I'm not saying anything to accuse him, but it brings to mind a school in Texas called SMU.
SMU. Yeah, I just feel like, I can understand you get a couple of really awesome recruits if you're Ole Miss, but when you're just rolling in recruit after recruit after recruit, something that you've never done, and your guy is named Hugh Freeze, who has absolutely no reputation at all, of doing that type of thing, and all of a sudden he's doing it.
I'd have him on my list if I was an athlete just because his name was Hugh Freeze.
It's kind of like the day I caught you using that cheat app in Word with Friends.
Is that you're talking about me on your Carolina? Thanks for your call. We got to hit our break, my man.
Okay, I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.
Okay.
And next weekend I'll be saying y'all, everybody enjoy the games today. And I don't know, but there's something about playing Notre Dame at Notre Dame. I'd like to see Louisville win, but I think Notre Dame pulls it out in a squeaker. Y'all have a nice day.
You too, Carolina. I want to get to this, Mark. I saw you tweet this out. Mark is at U of L Sheriff 50 on Twitter. I'm at Boyd KentuckySports.co. Were you talking about me?
No, I really wasn't.
Good. I've cheated on that game before.
Oh, have you?
I quit playing it because everybody cheats now.
Yeah, I think everybody has found a cheat app.
I have to
and now it's just like, who's using the best cheat app? It's kind of like the SEC.
Who has the best? Oh, yeah. 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line. If you want to get in the next segment, we're going to hit our first break. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line at 384-1450.
SC&OOP, Ego double G. I can't fake it, just break it. And when I take it, see, I specialize in making all the girls get naked. So bring your friends, all of y'all come inside. We got a world premiere right here.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Little Snoop Dogg for you.
Little Snoop Dogg for your morning.
Little Snoopy Snoop.
I didn't get my McDonald's breakfast, so a little Snoop Dogg is a good supplement.
Good supplement. If you don't get your McDonald's breakfast or your Wheaties, get you some Snoop.
Get you some Snoop
Get
Dogg.
you some Snoop. Oxmoor Service.
D-O-double-G.
On the way to Oxmoor Ford, you can listen to Snoop, but Oxmoor Service, located across from Oxmoor Mall, right there in the heart of St. Matthews, with free shuttle service and exceptional customers lounge. Oxmoor Ford Service, great people, great prices, great service every day. Jump on in there, mention you heard them. Mention you heard about us right there on the Weekend Sports Buzz. They'll hook you up at Oxmoor Ford. I've actually been there for a couple of the Mason and Myers in the morning show. They do that, I believe, the last Friday of every month. And they get free donuts, and they're amazing donuts. They're not just your cheap, little donut.
How come I never get dealt in on these donuts?
I was very fortunate to do the board. It was 7 to 9 in the morning, Mark. I doubt you're going to get there. You got to work.
You could bring them to me after.
That's true. Well, they were fantastic. So there's other than the show, which is everybody knows Mason Myers is wild. Get out there for some donuts and some exceptional people at Oxmoor Ford.
Yeah, that is a really good show. I actually like it.
It's a different show than every other show in the city, which makes it good.
Two people that genuinely go in on each other on a daily basis.
Exactly. They're not just making it up. It's fun to listen to. Some people might not enjoy it. I do. Call me a weird guy.
It can be fun.
Did you last thing while we're talking about the station? Did you catch Perrin Johnson, new show here on 1450?
I did hear about that, which is awesome. I haven't caught a show yet because it's kind of at an awkward time for me.
Oh, yeah, 4 to 5 every weekday right here on 1450. Perrin Johnson and our guy Trevor Bacon-Kelsey right here in the studio, 1450 a.m. on 1450sportsbuzz.com as well. I think that's a great pickup for 1450. Perrin obviously started over there with CN2 a little bit and Matt Jones on KSR, and he does great work.
Yep.
Former Cardinal.
Yeah, absolutely. Needed a show. Got one.
He got one, and he's
1450.
Everybody has enjoyed it. So from what I've heard, great feedback on throughout his the online world. So yeah, Perrin, if you're listening, man, keep up the good work.
He's asleep.
No, he's an early bird.
Is he early bird?
He's an early bird. Anyways, we were talking Louisville, obviously, when we hit our break there against Notre Dame. Game day is it currently? No, not yet. We got about 30 more minutes.
About 30 minutes till game day starts on ESPNU. But, ESPN has a poll, and 88% of America is picking U of L. I don't feel that confident about this game.
88% of America does not really know the in details of Louisville or Notre Dame.
I guess, yeah.
We're used to it. We're being here in the city of Louisville. You're a Louisville guy.
I'm just bracing myself for a double overtime 50-point
Pull up
matchup.
Notre Dame real quick, Mark. You got it right there.
Notre Dame,
I want to see who their schedule. Obviously they played Kentucky earlier in the season. They beat them up.
They're the number 25 ranked team in the nation.
Number 25 ranked team in the nation.
And they're coming off a 63-47 loss to Syracuse, and they took DePaul to overtime.
That's not good.
So maybe they're not playing that great right now.
Barely beat Nova.
Yeah, barely beat. Nova's hot right now, though.
They're not good, though. Georgetown beat them. St. John's beat them. They seem to be maybe that was the little Louisville slump they had, that little January slump.
Yeah, but they have some decent wins.
Oh yeah, they blasted Kentucky. I believe that was in November.
Look at that. Can you believe that Kentucky was ranked 8th in the country?
Well,
just going back in time now, looking at it.
Imagine, we'll talk about Kentucky's roller coaster of a season in a minute. But,
right.
It is crazy to think that.
But Notre Dame UK was 8th in the country when Notre Dame
They were 3rd in preseason.
Yeah, I know. But I just think it's kind of.
Still think they're a top team. Not 3, obviously.
Well,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but they're going to make tournament. We'll see what happens. But, man.
Are you worried? Or you said in your last segment you're worried.
I'm more just because
Why?
Just because of the series. It's on the road. Louisville hasn't won up there in a long time.
I'd be worried. It's Notre Dame.
It's a problem. It's a problem. Mike Bray's an excellent coach. I have a lot of respect for them.
18-5.
But the one thing that Mike Bray hasn't been doing is getting his team to the Sweet 16. They haven't been in the Sweet 16 since the early 90s. I have to go back and look at it, but it's a ridiculous stat. You always think about Notre Dame and their basketball program being pretty decent. They haven't been in the Sweet 16 in a long time.
That's crazy to believe because Mike Bray is one of the better coaches, in my opinion, out there. He's the guy that never has the top talent, but he's always getting big wins. Yeah. He's obviously, but Sweet 16, that's a stat I definitely didn't know. And I bet a lot of people out there listening probably didn't know either. Just got a text in from my mother.
Ooh.
Mom sent a text.
She get mad at me.
No, she's not mad. She's just pulling out her swagger. She said Snoop Dogg has changed his name to Snoop Lion.
No, he didn't.
Yes, hey.
How did I miss this?
I don't know, but I didn't know that either. And that's crazy that my mom knew that and neither of us did that being a lot younger.
Yes, I totally agree.
Mom stats.
But, she probably has a subscription to Us Weekly or something like that, and I don't,
She's a frequent BET listener, I'm assuming.
I think she is very sweet. Or actually, all right, their last Sweet 16, 03. Before then, 1987.
That's ridiculous. So last year, round of 64, round 2011, round of 32, 2010, first round.
So one Sweet 16 since 1987.
That's ridiculous, but it's in South Bend.
I knew it was something like that, but they haven't been to the Elite 8 since 1979.
That's a long time.
That's a really long time.
It's Notre Dame.
But it's supposed to be Notre Dame basketball. They're supposed to be very good. They're always ranked. You know what I mean? It just feels like they should be achieving more than that.
Let's transition to Kentucky.
Okay.
We got a few minutes for our next break, and we're going to bring Larry Glover on next segment. So let's lead into Larry with a little Kentucky talk here.
Okay.
Does that sound okay with you?
I like it.
384-1450 if anybody wants to jump in the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line. They're playing Auburn today for the last time of the season.
They're on a 4-game winning streak.
Winning streak. Beat Auburn earlier in the month, earlier in January, 75-53 at Auburn. It was a slow start, and then Kentucky just all of a sudden turned it on.
UK should win this game.
Easily.
Yeah, they should roll. And it should lead in. How big of a win does UK need today going into the Florida game next week?
I don't think you need a big win. I just think you need to win and not overlook this game with Florida coming. Florida just got beat down. They've just lost one of their better players than you get. If correct me, maybe I don't. I think that's how you pronounce the name. Due to an injury, they're going to be down. But
how long is he out? Did they ever announce that?
Definitely the regular season. I don't know
really?
I don't know if it's the entirety of the season. I know he's out for the whole regular season, so he won't be there next week. Florida is maybe mentally down a little bit. They are wanting that big win. I don't think Kentucky necessarily needs a big win. Come out, do your thing, win this game. Allow yourself to prepare for what's coming up next. And that's a tough stretch of the schedule coming up for Kentucky next with Florida.
Yeah, and getting a break.
Florida twice, Missouri, Tennessee still. I'm forgetting one more. Arkansas, who is a decent team right now.
Yeah, you got Florida twice remaining.
Yes.
You got Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Missouri, Mississippi State, Arkansas, Georgia.
Yeah, this is definitely the SEC portion of play. This is the toughest stretch for Kentucky after Auburn. The Florida game's huge. They're going to be a top 10 ranked team. It's going to be in the swamp. I wouldn't expect Kentucky to win, but if they do, I wouldn't be surprised, Mark.
So will you get averages 6 points, 6 rebounds?
He's a defensive stopper type of guy.
Defensive stopper. I definitely remember him from playing them last year in the Elite Eight. 6'7", 240 pounds. So this is an inside guy that they've relied on for 22 minutes a game. And, yeah, I think that could really change their dynamics. They're going to play Mississippi State today. And I think Florida bounces back. I think they get back on track.
I do too.
Make the adjustment. And, Kentucky has a chance to make some noise going into the NCAA tournament if they can beat Florida one time.
You will see a lot of zone today. If I remember back, Auburn threw a lot of zone at Kentucky while they were hanging with them.
They're going to try
to slow it down. But, Kyle Wilcher, I expect Kyle to, step out, with his three-point shooting. Have a big game today. Ryan Harrell played well against Auburn last time. I expect him to have a big game on the assist side of the ball.
What happens if they lose to Auburn?
I freak out and I don't show up to the show tomorrow.
Does the 4-game winning streak
it's gone?
It's gone.
It's gone.
You
lose to Auburn, to make the tournament. I'm not Joe Lenardi. I'm not the bracketologist person.
Where's he have you guys right now?
I'm not for sure. I'm not following. I haven't looked at bracketology once this year, Mark. That's crazy. Crazy to think, but I know I've seen other people, other blogs throw it out there, but I haven't actually looked at it. If you want to pull it up, but I think if they lost to Auburn, you could erase that loss with a win over Florida because, in my opinion, I think you can get swept by Florida and still make this tournament without winning the SEC because they're that good of a ball club. You got to beat Missouri, though.
Right.
But if you lose to Auburn, you have to beat Florida at least once. You have to.
You have to if you lose to Auburn.
And then if not, you're going to the SEC tournament playing for life.
Odds are that Kentucky loses to Florida both games. I'm not saying that
I'll give you those
going
odds.
to happen. I'm saying
yes.
the odds, the probability, Florida beats Kentucky. So you can't have any more bad losses.
I'm assuming Florida will be a favor at Rupp as well. Not by much.
Missouri's a winnable game because I feel like Missouri's very overrated.
Game day in Lexington.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Right now, Joe Lenardi has Kentucky as the number 9 seed.
Okay.
In the South region, playing in Dayton through
against UNLV.
What is North Texas? Where is that?
North Texas is in Texas.
I know that, but where? It's like Midwest is Indianapolis, East is Washington, D.C., West is L.A., South is North Texas. What is North Texas? Is it Dallas? And if it's Dallas, why don't we say Dallas?
384-1450. If you know where North Texas is, we're not going to research it yet until maybe someone calls in and let us know where it is. Let us know. But
why would they say North
What's
Texas?
crazy is look who's that second-round matchup you get through the first round.
Yeah, it could be UK-IU, according to Joe Lenardi.
That's a matchup that I would be scared but not too freaked out. It would be a heck of a game, in my opinion, because I think Kentucky could counter their inside play. It's all about their guards and the Oladipo's a beast, in my opinion.
Joe Lunardi also has Louisville in the same region as a 3 seed, which they wouldn't play unless it was in the Elite
If that
Eight.
happened, I would not be happy. If all 3 teams – I don't even want to see any of the 3 in the same bracket.
I feel like Joe Lunardi mailed in that bracket there. That's not even a good
Joe, he just woke up.
He just woke up and just filled some stuff out.
He's just getting tired.
He just threw confetti up on the wall.
He's getting tired
this week. He's like, nobody's reading this right now anyway. I'm just gonna mail it in this week.
He's just gonna mail it. Let's go to the buzz line. We got our guy on the line. Truth. What's going on, man?
What is going on with Joe Lunardi?
I don't know. He has Indiana as a 1 seed, not the overall 1 seed, but a 1 seed.
That'll be a good thing. I hope they do put Kentucky and Indiana and Louisville in the same bracket.
Really? Why would you want to see that?
I just want to. If they don't want to schedule one another, let them play in the tournament. That's how you settle that.
Hey,
I'm with you.
That's a good point. I'm with you there. I think the game will be rescheduled with Indiana and Kentucky. I don't know about Louisville and Indiana, but maybe down the road. Obviously, Kentucky and North Carolina rescheduled for the next 2 years. Truth, I have to ask you, what happened? Where's the defense on? How do you let a layup?
Backdoor layup.
Backdoor layup, Truth. Come on.
Hey, I've been saying this for I'm a big Hoosier fan, and I criticize what's going to hurt Indiana in the tournament if they don't stop turning the ball over and don't play no half-court defense, they in trouble.
It's a good point.
It's true. Illinois kicked in the back door on that play.
Truth, it's crazy. I was watching most of this game, and I was getting bored with about 8 minutes ago, 7 minutes ago, because Indiana was, again, pulling away. I believe they were up around 12 or 13. I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to turn on the old Xbox and enjoy myself a good evening. And then my friend comes running in his room. Indiana just lost.
You know who I blame the game on?
Who?
I tell you what I don't like, and I want y'all to watch them, too, what I'm getting ready to say. You notice something, when Indiana get up to a big lead, they start putting the ball in Depot hands and let him start taking it one-on-one like he did with Dwayne Wade. Yogi Ferrell need to handle the ball. Depot, he's a good ball player, but he cannot handle the ball.
It is. You're right. He's not the best ball handler, but you got to love Oladipo, what he does for Indiana.
I like what he stands for. But everybody got to play their role to win a championship. Everybody got to what they cannot do, don't try to do it.
I agree. With Truth, we got to hit our break here. We appreciate the call. Let's go and hit this break. Good little segment there. We're going to come right into it with Larry Glover from Larry Glover Live right here on 1450 Sports Buzz, as well in Lexington and surrounding areas. So stick with us, Weekend Sports Buzz.
Drop it like it's hard. When the pigs try to get at you, park it like it's hard. Park it like it's hard. Park it like it's hard. And if a get an attitude, pop it like it's hard. Pop it like it's hard. Pop it like it's hard. Got the rollie on my arm.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Fort Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
This is how we do it. This is how we do it. La, 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 la.
We're back here at the Weekend Sports Buzz. Myself, Tyler Boyd, Mark Blankenbaker, every Saturday, 9 to 11, right here on 1450 inside the Kentucky area. You can also check us out online, 1450thesportsbuzz.com. We're going to jump straight to the Oxmoor Fort Lincoln Buzz Line because we got a great guest waiting for us, Larry Glover from Larry Glover Live. How you doing this morning, Larry?
Hey, good, guys. Thanks for asking. Appreciate it.
Well, we're glad to have you on. Obviously, you've been on the radio forever. You do your own show. You have LarryGloverLive.com. You've been on in Lexington on WVLK for forever. But now you've joined the Louisville market right here on 1450 a few months back. I'm finally glad to have you in here because I live in Louisville and I'll enjoy listening to your show.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Louisville's a market that I think is largely untapped from the Kentucky perspective. Obviously, there's a lot of Louisville coverage, and it's kind of nice to talk a little blues sometimes in Jefferson County.
Hey, it really is. I try to get as much out there myself, but I got my guys like Mark beside me who try to just go all red on us. But again, Larry Glover from Larry Glover Live. Let's jump right into it here. Kentucky is playing their game today, 4 p.m. against Auburn, second game of the season against Auburn. Should be a pretty simple win. We don't really want to mention too much. It should be a pretty simple win, right?
Well, it should be. On paper, it should be an easy win for Kentucky. The problem, and Calipari talked about this at his press conference, is games that Kentucky ought to win, they have a tendency to not come entirely mentally prepared to play the game and find themselves in a closer game than maybe they should be. So we'll see how they've matured. If they go out and take care of business, perhaps maybe they'll show signs of maturing as a team and gelling in the kind of club that might be able to do something in March. But that's the problem. This team, when they should win and when they should take care of business, oftentimes they allow teams to hang around and linger.
Yeah, I do agree. And I kind of put it as they've played for most of the season. At most times, they've kind of played to the level of their competition. Do you believe me in that, or?
Oh, absolutely, I do. That's kind of what I was talking about just a moment ago. They do play to the level of their competition.
Yes.
They'll go out and play an Auburn team. They ought to win 20, 25 points, which they did at Auburn. In fairness to them, but they probably will play better Tuesday night when they're at Florida and might lose that game. And in fact, I would expect them to lose that game. So I think that they'll play better next Tuesday night because, as you pointed out, accurately so, in most cases they've played down to the level of competition or played up to the level of competition. That's why you see them go out there and struggle and lose to Baylor at home and look terrible, and then a couple weeks later go to Louisville and play the Cardinals to a pretty close game.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. What they did against Louisville. Obviously, the Notre Dame game, that was just one of those games. You go to South Bend. Louisville actually does play today. We were talking about that a little bit. But when Kentucky went to Auburn about a month ago, they played well. They started off slow, then they turned it on. After the game, the next game was against Bama. Everybody knows what happened in the second half against Bama. Calipari came out after that game and said, I thought they were starting to get it after the Auburn game. And then they kind of took that step back. Now in the press conference, I believe yesterday, Cal said they're starting to buy in. Do you see that?
Well, I do see that. The question is whether it's enough and soon enough to really matter. Next week against Florida and Tennessee on the road. Next week's an important week. I think they really need to get a split in the road series, the road swing between Florida and Tennessee. I guess they could conceivably lose both and still look good and still give you promise that things are getting better, but. They ought to win today. Today shouldn't be a problem. I think they will win comfortably. Auburn may hang around maybe a little bit longer than they should, but that's all right. As long as they go out there and take care of business, win 18, 20 points, I think they'll be fine. I think we'll learn a lot more about Kentucky on Tuesday night when they go to Gainesville. And if they lose, how do they respond from that loss when they go to Knoxville next Saturday? I think we'll learn a lot about Kentucky a week from today.
Yeah, I would totally agree. We were talking about that last segment. The next 2-3 weeks for Kentucky are in the SEC portion of play are definitely the big portion of the schedule, with Florida twice, Tennessee again. You have Missouri for game day, Arkansas, who I believe is a well-coached. Everybody knows they have a well-coached team. I think they are a pretty good team as well. So it's definitely a tough stretch for Kentucky. Where do you see them going into the tournament? Right now they're a 9 seed, if I believe Lenardi has them projected. In that bracket, they have Indiana, Louisville, Kansas.
Well, I think if they play well, I think they can put themselves in position to maybe get a 5 or a 6. I think that's still possible. You look at their schedule. Factoring in today, you say you can chalk it up as a win. That's 17-6. Next week they go to Florida, they go to Tennessee. If you can get a split next week, you're suddenly 18-7, and then you've got 3 consecutive home games. That should get you to 21-7. Should. Arkansas and Georgia, if you get a split there, you're talking 22-8. You beat Florida at Rupp Arena to finish up the season at 20. It's 22-9. I guess I'm losing track of the games there. If you can do that and then win 2 or 3, you win a couple games in the SEC tournament, get to the SEC finals, and even if you lost to Florida there, I think you probably could get to a 5 or a 6. I'd rather be a 6 than a 5, frankly. But I think they're also, as a team, it's about getting in the tournament, and that's the really issue for Kentucky. Once you get there, the slate's kind of wiped clean. I think that on Selection Sunday, when these teams like Indiana and Louisville, sitting there, looking at maybe a potential 1 seed, the next question on their mind after they get their seed is where's Kentucky going to be? Because that's a team that's likely going to be seated in a 1 seed pot somewhere, in their half of the region. and they're a team that's going to have comparable ability that might be playing better than what their seed says. And I think Kentucky's a real dangerous team. That's not to say that Kentucky beat an Indiana or Louisville in the second round, but I think it's the kind of game that a 1 seed would not want to see, because you'd be looking at a team that's got a 1 or 2 seed talent that's just starting to play well, but just doesn't have the resume to warrant a seed higher than that.
Yeah, again, we have Larry Glover from the Larry Glover Live on right now. You kind of hit the point right there. If I remember, it was last year or 2 years ago, Kentucky, when they were highly ranked, they had a UConn team, I believe, that was in the 7 or 8 seed position. That was going to be the second round matchup that people were worried about. Like, this team is, last year. This team is very good, better than the 1 seed. Obviously, they were knocked out by Iowa State, but didn't get to see that. But yeah, I would totally agree. This is that team that could easily make it. And I think you nailed it a little bit on the head there, was just make the tournament this year, because everybody's seen what happens to the 1 seeds. I mean, just make it, and there's opportunity for you to win it.
Well, I think they'll get in. I'm not really worried
about
them not getting in. The schedule here on out is favorable to them. They're being projected as a 9 seed, which, let's face it, is not an ideal seed, but it's a seed that indicates that you're comfortably in. I would expect Kentucky to win 3 or 4 from here on out, and in conference play, that's usually as good as most people do, frankly. So I think that their lot will actually improve a little bit, and of course, just can get beyond that 8-9 game. I look at this team a little bit, a lot like the Brandon Knight team. You remember how that team was playing really well at the end of the season? They beat Tennessee on the road, going to give them renewed confidence. They win the SEC tournament, and then they get stuck as a 4 seed, which everyone really thought was an unfair seed.
Yeah.
It really was unfair to Ohio State, which was a 1 seed, drawing a team, as it turns out, a Final Four caliber team right there in the 3rd round. And so I think it could be a little bit like that, where Kentucky gets stuck in a pod with a 1 seed that, frankly, is, they're playing much better than what their seed would suggest. It's a little unfair almost to maybe a Louisville or an Indiana team that may be a 1 seed having to play a team that talented that early in the tournament. I think it's almost more unfair to them than it would be Kentucky, because Kentucky, if they're an 8 or 9 seed, they've gotten to see the resume that says they should have gotten, but it's a little unfair to a 1 seed to play a team that talented that early in the tournament. I'm not suggesting Kentucky would beat a Louisville or Indiana, because I'm not sure they would, but they would at least have the ability to do so and make a 1 seed play a team that's more talented in the second round than maybe the other 1 seeds will have to play.
I would totally agree. Now, I kind of want to transition here quickly while we got a couple minutes left for the top of the hour. Football recruiting signing day was over the week. It was a fun day. In my 26 years of following Kentucky, it was definitely my most entertaining signing day for football as a Kentucky guy, a Kentucky follower. What about you? I mean, obviously the day in general was a big day for Kentucky and Mark Stoops.
Well, it really was. I think anybody will tell you that the key to winning college football games is having talent. You can talk about having Nick Saban on the sidelines, but if Nick Saban were coaching Kentucky last year, they wouldn't have gone to a bowl game. It's about talent, and X and O's come after that. And he's been on the job, 66 days on signing day, and it's pretty remarkable he was able to get a class that good. I mean, think about that for a second. He's been on the job a little over 2 months, and a couple of scouting services had Kentucky with their top 30 team. Who'd ever dreamed that when Joker was let go, that they would bring in someone who would infuse excitement and energy and hope into a program, and then go out and get a recruiting class that amplifies that hope and encouragement towards better days being in Kentucky. I think it's pretty remarkable what he's done. I can't find a misstep that Mark Stoops has made. Now, he still has to win football games, and that's the problem. You go out there and you're playing a schedule that's undoubtedly going to be a top 3 or 4 schedule. It's not the toughest schedule in America. You're going to be playing a schedule that's going to include 6 teams that were ranked in the BCS poll, starting with Louisville in week 2. So they could be demonstratively better next year and not have a record that's a whole lot of improvement in. I can easily see Kentucky go out there and be a very good team and be dangerous and be sitting there at 4-8 or 5-7. I think it's very possible. So the thing you have to worry about, though, is the fans are really excited about the recruiting class. They're excited about the buzz. But what does a 4-8 or 5-7 team do to that excitement? Are they still hopeful going forward, or are they expecting more than that? I know Mark Stoops was telling Jason Hatcher, we want to win a bowl game next year.
Yes.
And then following year win, I'll compete for an SEC Eastern Division title. I think that's a little ambitious. But if you say things like that, your fan base is going to start to believe. They expect that it's
Oh yeah, I would totally agree. You know, with him, with the Hatcher, how did he get? I mean, I know you don't know exactly how, but it's crazy that he got Hatcher, that he could get Timmons, two guys that specifically said a few months back, no to UK. That's a school that's going nowhere, basically. And now he's there for, like you said, 56 days, and he gets a couple of the top talents across the country, definitely two of the best in the entire state. That just shows that where this program is trying to head.
People I talked to suggested a couple of weeks earlier that Timmons was going to go to Kentucky. I talked to one of Ryan's good friends at the Border Bowl banquet, and he told me that night off the record that Timmons was going to come to Kentucky, that they were excited about playing together. So I wasn't really surprised by Timmons at all.
Mm-hmm.
But Hatch was a kid that kind of openly mocked Kentucky last fall. When he was asked about his recruitment at Tennessee, he openly said that he told Tennessee no because they couldn't beat Kentucky, and everyone beats Kentucky. I mean, he was kind of making fun of these programs. He didn't respect it. And for that kid, 3 months later to commit to Kentucky is quite a sales job that most people did on him. I know DJ Elliott said that he believed that Hatcher always wanted to come to Kentucky. He just needed something to believe in to get him to bite and to come. And perhaps that's what happened. But to go out and get a kid that's a 4-star defensive line player that's got his ability, and a kid that openly mocked your program 2 months earlier, to get them to sign on that dotted line, take a chance on you, I think is pretty remarkable.
Totally.
The recruiting story. And furthermore, I think he's probably the most important recruit because you can't expect to compete in the SEC if 4-star kids are going out of state or going to your rival in Louisville. You have to get some of those kids.
Yeah, I would totally agree. You got to, Stoops, he did a heck of a job. Larry, we're at the top of the hour here. I really appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your Saturday and joining us. You can catch him every weekday, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, 6 to 8 p.m. here at 1450 Sports Buzz, and as well as WVLK 590 in Lexington.
Absolutely. That's absolutely correct, and guys, I appreciate you asking. Thank you much.
Yeah, you have a great weekend, Larry. He makes some good points there about the recruiting. You got to, the Hatcher. Everybody knows, Hatcher was the icing on the cake for this program's class. But yeah, to get him out of the city, I wonder if he's a Kentucky fan. I wonder if he grew up a fan.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think he's kind of a guy that really didn't have a team.
I know that. Actually, I know his mom really wanted him to go to U of L.
Well, she wore red and black to the signing.
And I think the family's more of a U of L fan, and I think that, to be honest with you, I think they looked at UK as a great opportunity for Jason to come in, do what he wanted to do, get away from home, which is what he wanted to do.
Still local.
His family can travel to his games. He's playing the SEC, and he gets an opportunity for some early playing time.
Starting possibly right away.
Yeah, what Larry said is true. Mark Stoops flipped the table completely around in Jason Hatcher's mind in a matter of 3 months, and actually 2 months, really, because Mark's really not been there that long.
Yeah.
But, in a matter of 2 months, totally changed his mind to where Jason Hatcher didn't just consider Kentucky. I mean, he committed there.
He committed there. It was awesome. And great work. I know we're at the top of the hour. If anybody wants to jump in the second hour, 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline.
And I do disagree with Larry on a couple of his basketball points, which you can.
We'll get that right when we come back. Yeah. So we'll stick with this. It's the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzzline at 384-1450.
We're back here the second hour of the Weekend Sports Buzz. Check us out on 1450tosportsbuzz.com as well as livesportscaster.com. You can watch our show. We have great highlights going through, footage for you throughout our 2 hours every Saturday and Sunday right here on 1450tosportsbuzz.com. Of course, I'm Tyler Boyd from KentuckySports.co, Mark Blankenbaker, cardsandcats.com, 2 great sites, one big family.
One big family.
One big family. I do want to mention this. I didn't get it out in the first hour after I didn't see this at the bottom of the little doc here. Today, February 9th, we have some high school basketball right here on 1450 Sports Buzz. 2:05 pregame, 2:30 tip as Evansville Central takes on New Albany at New Albany. You'll get to catch Charlie Jenkins call the game and his crew right here on 1450. So be sure to check that out. If you can't get it on in your car or 1450sportsbuzz.com, or download it on your iPhone or Android, as you can get it from crystal clear digital quality. Search 1450 to Sports Buzz in the iTunes App Store or Android Market. Powered by InsureMax. Call Chatter Allen Hennessy at 479-4085 for all your home, auto, and life needs.
You're only going to hear that app in crystal clear quality if you're using Verizon, honestly.
Why?
Because Verizon is the best freaking network in the city by far. Like, if you're a sports fan and you're not using Verizon, like, you're just a boat without a paddle.
Without a paddle.
Like, literally. Like,
I don't like paddling a boat anyways. I usually prefer an engine.
You have no social life if you go in the Yum Center and you don't have Verizon. If you have Sprint or AT&T or T-Mobile or anybody like that, you have no social life at all.
I have
or
no
Papa
friends
John's.
then.
I mean, literally. Like, oh, what are you going to do after the game? Well, hey, I'll text you as we're leaving. No. You're going to get all the way to your car
not
without
at
a text.
Papa John's. Oh, gosh, no.
You're not getting anything at all. You have to have Verizon to be a sports fan and also have a social life if you want to read Twitter.
Now I know I have no girlfriend and no friends.
If you want to get a phone call, if you want to take, because if you don't have Verizon, guess what? Your phone's not working.
You're out of luck.
Until you get
You're
out
a
of
boat without a paddle.
You really are.
But if you have an engine, you're okay.
Yeah, exactly.
384-1450.
Just want to get that out there.
That's fine. I knew you did. 384-1450, the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line. Coming up in the second segment of our second hour, we're going to talk to Brent Adams. He is the media relations director with the Kentucky Extreme. Their season starts next Sunday against the Saginaw Sting.
The Saginaw Sting.
Yep. So we're going to break down the season a little bit. Just talk a little bit what's going on.
Football's back. That's cool.
It's back. It's cool. It's football. Everybody likes football now here in Kentucky.
Yeah.
It's a big thing.
I disagree with Larry a little bit.
That's what I was getting into next. Basketball. Yeah,
on the basketball part, when he said that if UK's an 8-9 seed, that a lot of the 1 seeds are going to be, like, looking out for, like, where they land, I honestly don't think that's the case. Like, I think that if it's Kansas or Indiana, possibly Louisville or Michigan, whoever could be a number 1 seed. Okay, I go through possible number 1s. But I don't think that they're really going to worry about UK. In fact, I think that the only SEC team that you don't want to play is Florida. And if you could play any SEC team in your bracket, like load up a bracket with SEC schools other than Florida, because those teams aren't going to be ready for the NCAA tournament. This is not a good year to be from the SEC.
This isn't a good year to be in college basketball.
Well, it's not a good year to be number 1 either, is it?
Well, college basketball.
But I honestly think that I would, if I'm a number 1, if I'm Michigan, for example, and I'm a number 1 seed, I'm like, yeah, throw a little Kentucky in there.
I think I'm going to take Larry's side on this one. Obviously, he's my UK guy.
Okay. I mean, I understand what he's saying.
I know what he's saying. He's getting to the point of, look, every 1 seed wants to know who the next round matchup is.
Right.
There's a very good chance Kentucky will have an 8-9 seed. If they, like he said, they could jump up to a 5 or 6.
Well,
there's a very good chance there's an 8-9, which would be a 1's next matchup.
Right.
There will be the best 8 or 9 seed in the tournament if they got that, and I think that's kind of what he was getting to.
Right. I know what he's saying.
Agree?
I don't know what he's saying, but like, if I'm Michigan, throw a little Ole Miss in there all day long. Throw a little Kentucky in there all day long. But I think
little Kentucky.
But I would.
Don't you ever say that.
But I
again.
do agree with Larry that it's good for Kentucky to get a 6 seed rather than go all the way to a 5. I really like the 3-6 matchup in the second round a lot more than I do a 4-5 matchup in the second round. I just always have felt that way.
Where do you think Louisville's going to land?
Right now, I still think Louisville's going to be in the Lexington, Dayton.
I think they'll definitely like.
And they're going to be a 1, 2, or 3. It's all going to be.
I think it'll be a 2 or 3.
It's all going to be about how they finish out. Like
sure.
If they finish
how
out
everybody does
really well, if they win the day, and then they probably can lose 2 more games and then maybe sneak in for a number 1. If they lose 3 or 4 more games, they're going to be a 2 or 3.
Regardless 1 to 3, you're okay. You're a top team. You got to beat some people regardless in the tournament to win the championship.
Exactly. So it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter. But I think Kentucky will end up being an 8-9. I think this is the year. They seem to be when they're not a 1, they're an 8 or 9. Mm-hmm. It seems to be that's their trend.
Yeah,
I think they will be.
When Larry was running the schedule, it made sense. You're probably going to lose the Florida games. You're going to lose a couple more. I don't know which ones. So you're going to have at least 4 going into the SEC tournament. 4 more.
I don't know if they lose many more after those 2.
And
I don't think Tennessee will beat them even at Tennessee.
I'm not saying Tennessee specifically.
I'm going to go down to teams for you.
Yeah.
I know Arkansas is on the road. That could be a scary game because Arkansas has beat some decent teams, and they always lose his name. Left Missouri.
Oh, Mike Anderson.
Thank you, Mike Anderson. I always want to say Mike Price for some reason. Mike Anderson is a great coach. He can definitely do that. I don't see it happening. I think Kentucky is, like Cal said, they're buying in and they're slowly getting it.
Yeah, that could be. I think there are only 2 losses that they have are Florida. If they're Florida's, then they're fine.
Oh, I think they're fine regardless. I don't, unless they just had a drastic drop off in losses.
But if all their losses are just to Florida, they're a 6 or a 5.
They're a 6 or 5. But I think that it's going to be interesting. No, anybody can win this season.
Yeah.
There's a few favors in Kansas. I know, even though they lost, blah, blah, blah. There's one of those games. Kansas, Louisville, Indiana, Michigan. Those 4. I might even occasionally try to throw Duke right up there.
I like
From
Duke.
what they have done.
Yeah, I like Duke.
I still don't see it. Still don't see it.
I think they're really beatable. I saw what Louisville did with them without Gorgie and really some really questionable calls, but you're going to have
Syracuse
that when you play
is
Duke.
right up there.
Yeah.
I don't see him. I think it's Indiana, Louisville, and Kansas, in my opinion, and Michigan.
Jay Billis has been he's been steadfast. He's been like, look, I like Louisville in the national championship. He's like, I even liked them when they were on the 3-game skid. And he's like, it's because of their guards. And I'm inclined to agree with him because I just see what Russ and Peyton do on a daily basis against teams. Like, they literally melt backcourts down.
Peyton, if Peyton's on, he's one of the best in the country.
Yes.
We know that. But if he's slumping or if he has a bad game, he usually has bad 2 or 3 games.
That's been his problem.
That's not what you need coming that time in a tournament. Usually, last year he was one of the better tournament players you could have asked for.
Yeah. Well,
what's he going to be this year?
One good thing with Peyton is that he's healthy right now. And last year, the whole season he wasn't healthy until the Big East tournament.
Is Gorgie totally healthy?
I think he's
he's about 90%, 95%.
I think he's getting close. He doesn't have that little free throw line 15-footer that he had before.
Let me talk about somebody. I always want to talk to you about, or Kelly, but we never do. Luke Hancock. Where's your standpoint now on Luke? It seems to, Cardinal fans, it's changing on Luke every week.
I think Luke is steadying out, and he's becoming more of the player that we thought he would be.
Figuring his role.
And finding his role. But I think one great thing about the whole Luke Hancock scenario is the emergence of Wayne Blackshear.
Yep.
Like, he had a great game and limited minutes against Rutgers. I mean, he didn't play even half the game, but he was our leading scorer. And, together, they're a very good 1-2 combo, where they can, like, Luke can play in for Russ, and then Wayne can stay at the 3, and they can be on the court together. Or they can just rotate in and out and share minutes. I think Luke has been really good, and I think he's a better passer. And if he moves with the basketball sometimes, like, it seems like
if he moves,
he does better, but he's just reluctant to move sometimes.
Now, who would have ever thought Steven Van Treese is such a big part of this team, and he's transferred like 4 times?
He's not that big of a part of the team.
He's a big part of this team. Every time Louisville struggles, you always see people blowing up, we need Van Treese. And then you always see, how does this happen with Van Treese? He's playing well.
He'll go whole games without playing.
He's saved you. I know, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because what he's done has been very productive.
Yeah. I mean, I like it when he goes in for.
He's transferred. He's literally almost transferred 3 times. And look, he's a big key to your team, your success.
Yeah. I mean, he's a post player that we have to have for depth reasons.
Who'd have thought that, though? That Steven Van Treese, who came into Louisville, is just projected to be a.
The Cards needed him all last year.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't available at all last year.
Mm-hmm.
And so. I think a lot of people at that had, forgotten about him because of that. But, he's very efficient offensively because he does not take shots when he's not wide open. You know what I mean? He doesn't force the ball. I mean, all he really shoots is layups. He's a very good defender, a very active rebounder, kind of like Jack Cooley, but he just doesn't play those type of minutes. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's Jack Cooley.
He doesn't look like Jack.
He doesn't look like Buzz. He doesn't look
like Buzz.
And he's not Jack Cooley, but he has that type of energy while he's playing the game, and that's what I'm trying to sort of draw attention to.
I would agree.
How'd you like that Russ Smith dunk last week? Did you see it?
No.
Against Rutgers?
No, I didn't watch the Rutgers
game. It was on
game.
setting.
Oh, no.
It was number 7
Rutgers,
right here. Boom.
Well,
there.
Good work, E-Pulse, Vox, and Matt. Good work on the show there, livesportscaster.com.
Yeah, Russ Smith, man. It was literally coast to coast, number 7 top play of the day on SportsCenter. It was amazing.
That's one game.
Mohawk Russ.
Rutgers they're terrible.
It was on
I wouldn't expect
day.
you to watch if anything, of the Auburn game. They're terrible.
Yeah, I actually watch a lot of UK.
I watch a lot of Louisville. I'm just saying that's one of those games.
As long as it doesn't conflict with U of L, because I like watching college basketball.
What night was that?
The Rutgers game?
Yes.
Signing day.
That was Wednesday.
Okay,
Wednesday.
And then UK played Tuesday.
UK played Tuesday. I watched that one. But we're looking at the schedule here for today's games to get that out there. Florida does play Mississippi State, looking for that turnaround game. You have number 3 Michigan versus Wisconsin. That could always be an upset. Wisconsin seems to be one of those teams that always Big Ten always slows you down. But Wisconsin really slows you down.
Yeah, you're gonna need new brakes after your Wisconsin game.
Michigan, the fastest paced team in the country, it seems, the highest scoring team versus Wisconsin.
Which, by the way, Tim Hardaway was at the Louisville Marquette game.
The real Tim Hardaway, please stand up.
Mr. Hardaway, senior, and I was doing a time lapse video for the whiteout.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I wanted to film the stadium filling up. And Tim Hardaway bumped my camera.
Is he's the one that bumped it?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He bumped it, and I was like,
You should have got up and, damn. It didn't, hold on. That just, was it him or Nick Van Exel that threw the camera when he played?
I don't remember. I don't know that. But
he walked up to the camera and grabbed a cameraman's camera and just got mad. Or was it the little TV on the table? Tim did something.
He did something. Well, let me just tell you that there have been incidents between the established media at the Yum Center with the NBA scouts all year.
Don't bring the NBA to Louisville.
No. They've been having problems. Like at one game, I think it was the Syracuse game.
They're mad they can't play in Louisville.
There was a journalist. I'm not gonna say his name. He was screaming at a NBA scout to find a seat. And then there was an argument. It was a.
No wonder the national media hates the Louisville scene.
But man, I tell you what.
No wonder they give you all no credit. You're just yelling at him.
And then Tim Hardaway bumped my camera.
Did he say sorry?
I don't even think he knew he did it.
He did.
But
he knew what he was doing.
But I kind of grabbed it and was like and I think he kind of realized it. But there were people wanting to take his picture and all that stuff. And I was like,
he bumped my camera.
Yeah, he bumped my camera.
You got Kansas looking for another turnaround game against Oklahoma today.
I thought it was hilarious that Bill Self said that about his team.
That was
the worst team to ever play college basketball.
That's
ever
for Kansas.
That
was pretty good.
Maybe the worst this year.
You might as well just
Northern Illinois hit 1 shot and a half because they might have been
one team we don't ever mention for a possible Final Four is Gonzaga.
Oh, and Patino dropped that last night.
He did?
Yesterday, actually.
A lot of people have been talking about it.
He said they're the best team on the West Coast, and he said it wouldn't surprise me if they cut down.
You would never think there's an NFL, other than maybe 2 or 3 schools, you wouldn't ever think there's schools past the Mississippi West.
Yeah, and you know what?
With sports, football or basketball.
If Louisville doesn't win the championship, that's who I want to win. Because nobody deserves it.
I'm okay with that.
Nobody deserves it more than Mark Few out there.
I'm totally okay with that.
Because everybody's like, "Hey, we're gonna get Mark Few."
No, you're not.
And no, he's not. It's just like Chris Peterson at Boise State.
No, you're not.
He's not leaving.
He loves
Mark.
He loves it. You have obviously Louisville, Notre Dame, 11 versus 25. Michigan State at Purdue, Iowa State, Kansas State. Going down the list here. Oh, another ranked matchup. Rival Pittsburgh, all of a sudden ranked. Pittsburgh at Cincinnati.
They have a good backcourt.
Ole Miss at Missouri. That's Ole Miss is not ranked now. I think they've dropped.
How do you feel about that Henderson guy?
I don't like him. He's a cokehead.
He's a cokehead?
That came out. A big article about it.
Big old article.
Anyways, let's go to our first break.
So you don't like him because he uses cocaine?
No, that has nothing to do with it. But I don't like him just the way he was acting against Kentucky.
What about how'd you like the way he acted against Auburn?
The standing up, that thing.
Did you see the old man that he was standing right in front of? The old man stood up and was like,
"Yes,
you're not doing that right."
My favorite part was just watching every select person through the crowd.
I like that too. That was my
good.
favorite.
Let's go to our break because we got our guy calling in from the Kentucky Extreme, Brent Adams. So stick with us, the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz on 1450 AM.
Darling, when I hold you, don't you know I feel the same?
Mark, them one seats never last forever.
I love Guns N' Roses on a Saturday morning.
Nothing better than that. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz. We are going to hop straight into the
Although it's not November, though, which is a problem for me, playing that song in February.
They cut it off early so that you wouldn't know that, Mark. Don't get it out there.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
It's okay. We're going to the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz line, though. We got our guy from the Kentucky Extreme Media Relations, Brent Adams. Brent, what's going on?
Hey, good morning. Thank you guys for having us on. I really appreciate it.
We're glad to bring you on. The season's getting very close. We're about a week away. Next Sunday, 4 p.m., the Kentucky Extreme will be taking on the Saginaw Sting. Am I correct?
Yes, you're correct. And I tell you what, we're ready to get after it. We've been practicing for about 3 weeks now. Open training camp on the 15th of January, and just ready to hit somebody in a different colored jersey right now, to be honest with you.
I bet.
I hear you about that. Obviously, football. We usually think it takes a back seat in this area about this time of year, but no. National Signing Day with the college going on just this past week, Kentucky and Louisville obviously doing big things. So football is big, and that's, with the Kentucky Extreme, if the indoor league gets back, it's going to be exciting. I'm looking down the list of players here. You got a Richard Ragland, Sergio Spencer, Jawan Spillman, I believe Doug Beaumont. Doug Beaumont's on the list. So a lot of local guys and a lot of people you know from Louisville, from Kentucky.
Yeah, as I tell you what, we also have Maurice Grinner, who played at the
Yes.
UK and also has extensive arena experience. Really, when we built this team, we had two things in mind. One, we wanted some of the local flavor. We wanted to give some of the opportunities to the guys that folks may know if they're big U of L or UK followers. But also, when you put it together, you want to look at the guys who give you the best opportunity to win and advance your franchise, which, in the grand scheme of things, for us, that's the big key, is to find guys who can really make your team win. And, sometimes it's not all about the best names. Some of the best guys that are going to prevail from this team are going to be guys that nobody's heard of before, that are just looking forward for their opportunity.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun day. Now, if I'm wrong, correct me, the games are played at Freedom Hall?
No, that's correct.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember. I remember I was the producer of the Montreal Jones Power Hour when we brought on Victor Cole, one of the owners, I believe, of the Extreme. We talked about it a few months ago, and I knew it was coming close. I couldn't remember. Where can people go to get tickets, online or maybe the box office?
Yeah, they can go right to Ticketmaster.com, or they can go to the Freedom Hall box office and get tickets. The single game tickets start at $7 a piece, which is a tremendous value. Go up to $12 for the lower level, and then we have some $25 and $35 seats for a little bit better access. Also, season tickets start at $35 for the upper level. That's 5 games, and then $53 for the lower level. But we're really trying to make it affordable, and that's the beauty of this league, as opposed to the AFL or some of the others. Is that the overhead's a little bit lower, so we can charge a little bit less. And, I heard you guys talking in the last segment about the NBA. Everybody's clamoring for bigger and better things here, professional sports, and that's what we're trying to give the city. We want to give them a first-class experience, and we want to be able to do it at an affordable cost, and it doesn't get much more affordable than that, really. No,
yeah, $35 for 5 games for a season pass for upper. That's a steal. $7 for single game tickets. I mean, if you got to get out there. I mean, it's a fun environment. And now, is this I can't remember if it was the Indoor Outdoor League second or third season with this one, and if I'm correct, they were champions of the last year?
Mm-hmm, that's correct. They were, and Saginaw came in and won their season opener last night over Marion Blue Races, 49-28. So right off the bat, the team that's been probably the big dog for the last couple of years is showing that they're right there on the threshold again this year. So right off the bat, we're going to have a heck of a fight on our hands. But it's going to be a great test for us, and I think it's going to be a great opportunity to show what this team is really made of. Now,
for the people who, I guess, aren't familiar with the Arena League, 4 quarters, how long are the quarters? What any rules that are obviously rules that are very different from the NFL, the outdoor game. Just tell us a little bit about the league.
Sure, it's the things that you're going to notice is a bit different from the AFL if you follow the AFL at all. There's a few nuances in the rules. We can actually roam a linebacker, and rather than having to keep them in the box, It's 8-on-8. Very fast-paced. It's geared toward off. You're going to see some high-scoring games. One of the nuances is a linebacker has to start off 5 yards off the ball, which is different from the AFL until the snap of the ball. So you're going to see more teams try to run the ball and exploit that little cushion, which is something that you didn't have in the AFL game. But you're going to see a lot of offense, and we tried to put together a defense that would counter that. And I think you're going to see a lot of hard hitting. People who are up close against the walls. The ball is going to go into the stands. You may go home with a football because it's really in your face action.
That's pretty cool. Kind of like a baseball game, Mark, or a hockey game. It goes into the stands. It's yours.
That's pretty neat. I like that.
I'd love to take home a football.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you definitely. It's in the within the confines of the hockey boards with pads on them, but it's hard hitting. You'll see guys get drilled into the board. You get guys drilled over the board during the game, and a lot of teams will try to dink and dump the ball down the field, with little short passes, little swing passes, and so forth. But you'll see some of the teams really try to go deep and put up. It'd be nothing to put up 3 scores, within the course of a minute. It's really intense. A lot of high-powered, high-pressure action, but it's something that'll keep the fans on the edge of the seat. And I think once they get in for that first game, that they'll want to come back again and again.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, again, if anybody listening, the first game is 1 week from tomorrow, Sunday the 17th at 4 p.m. at Freedom Hall. You can get, at the online Ticketmaster, you can get some tickets. You can do it right there at the front door. Cheap tickets, very affordable, fun environment, high-scoring games, as Brent has mentioned. You can also follow them on Twitter at Kentucky Extreme, or you can also do it, again, on Facebook. Search Kentucky Extreme Football. Give them a like. They've had, it's a lot of good stuff going on there as well. They give you updates throughout the week of games, players as well. Brent, I appreciate you coming on for just a couple minutes today, getting it out there. Maybe we can get you on, next weekend or Sunday, to preview the game.
Whenever, man. I can tell you I'm so passionate about it, and I just want the people in the city to be just as passionate about it. I've seen talk this week of kind of the Super Bowl hangover, and folks are a little bit down that football's over. But, we're trying to get the word out that football is not over. A lot of people still riding high from the Sugar Bowl win here and so forth for U of L. But, we're going to capitalize on that. We're going to keep football season rolling almost until it's time for the NFL training camps to start up again. So, come on and support us. Check us out online at KentuckyExtreme.com, extreme with an X.com. And, man, we just love to have everybody out at the games this year.
Yeah, exactly. So get on there, get those tickets, and get out to see the local indoor arena team because, like you mentioned, the NBA's not here. Might as well watch football.
Might as well.
Brent, have a great weekend. Appreciate you coming on. We'll be talking to you next Sunday.
Hey, guys, thanks so much. I really, really appreciate it. Have a great day and a great weekend.
You too, my man. Have you ever been to an arena game?
I have been, and they're a lot of fun. And, man, I was looking at this roster, You
got guys a lot. You usually have one person on there.
Yeah, you usually do. And there's a lot of really good players here. I mean, you read them off at the beginning, but just to kind of rehash
Go ahead.
Rich Ragland, Sergio Spencer, Jawan Spillman. You got Jonathan Russell, who goes way back. Doug Beaumont.
Maurice Grinter from Kentucky.
Maurice Grinter. I mean, there's a lot of good players.
Go up the top
there's
list.
A lot more.
Seems like quarterback. It could be out of Kentucky State. Kevin Warner.
Kevin Warner, Alonzo Scott, and then there's Jeremy Watson from Kentucky State.
All
3 of them. So it's kind of an eclectic group of college talent from the area playing on this Kentucky Extreme team.
It really is.
It could be fun.
Talented team.
Could be a lot of fun.
Going for a repeat.
Yeah.
So get out there. It's next Sunday. You can follow them on Twitter and everything as well. Let's see here. We got some time left here. Mark, I'm going to go to.
We need to talk signing day.
I know let's do that next segment for the full segment. But before we hit our commercial, I did want to mention some birthdays.
Joe Pesci.
That's the only birthday that we
need
to mention.
Don't even read another one. That's it.
It's Joe Pesci's birthday. He is 69 years old, little Joe. We also have Charlie Day. Do you know who Charlie Day is?
Isn't he the guy from Horrible Bosses?
No,
he's a high-pitched voice.
Maybe, I don't know if he's in there. It's Charlie. His name. He goes by Charlie Kelly on Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yes, it's the same guy.
Okay, I don't watch that one. So yeah, his birthday. One of my favorite shows. That show is 8 Up. Cincinnati Red, Deontay Navarro, former bat as well for many years. He was born in 1984. One of the biggest arms in right field, Vladimir Guerrero, 1976.
The best cricket player that never was.
That's true.
Yeah.
He's always just bouncing one right at the plate, and you're out.
Yep.
It's a good point. I like that. You got some good ones today, Mark. And, of course, little Jameer Nelson. Where did he play college?
Jameer Nelson? Didn't he play at Temple?
Nope.
No.
The other one. St. Joseph's.
Oh, St. Joe's.
It was him
it was
and
the other Philadelphia school.
It was him and the lefty that LeBron really doesn't like anymore. Delonte West. They both
he did something to his mom.
Supposedly. There was a special birthday. It's not on here.
Ooh.
KentuckySports.co zone.
Ooh.
Mr.
John
Hancock. Yeah, he's 30.
30 years old today.
30 for John.
Old man Hancock.
Old man Hancock. And he just got news of him and his wife are having their second child.
Really?
Happy birthday, He posted
John.
a picture on Facebook of the little chicken nugget. They had the ultrasound. He goes, "This is my future son, the chicken nugget."
What are we gonna name? What are we gonna name it? Can we name it Chicken Hancock?
Kind of like Chicken Knowles?
Yes.
I hope he's listening right now.
Oh, that'd be so good.
That would be so good. Chicken Hancock.
Or we could come up with something else.
John sent us a message in our little group message yesterday. It said, "Guys, it's a big day. I am the #1 John Hancock on Google now." He eclipsed John Hancock.
The John.
The John.
He eclipsed
the John.
Declaration of Independence, John.
Now when people say John Hancock, it's KentuckySports.co's John Hancock.
But it's J-O-N.
J-O-N's the
it's
key
not
term here.
J-O-H-N.
Yeah, they really throw you off.
It is not.
It's not. You sure?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it is.
But this guy is. I see.
Look at that beautiful face.
I see what he's saying.
John needs to change his picture. He still has his goatee in this picture that he shaved off months ago.
But happy birthday, John.
Happy birthday, John. You're 30 years old today.
You and Joe Pesci. A lot alike in many respects.
They are a lot alike.
No, they're not.
Joe Pesci and John Hancock are completely opposites.
Exactly.
There's only one today in sports history that I thought was interesting. 1971, Satchel Paige became the first African-American elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Big day for MLB right there.
He was?
In sports.
Oh, wow. That's pretty huge.
You seem like you're really sarcastic with some things.
No, I'm just saying I didn't know that.
Yeah, it is.
Satchel Paige was.
Satchel Paige.
Even before Jackie Robinson.
Before.
Whoa.
Yeah. Now you know something. You learn something every day, Mark.
If you don't know, now you know.
If you don't know,
well, I'm going to rely on you for some baseball knowledge because that's just
baseball is very close. We're going to talk about that a lot with my man Kelly tomorrow.
Did you see? This happened yesterday. They just announced. I'm going to have to find out the date for you. But the Reds and Nationals are playing. And then Louisville and Cincinnati baseball are playing. It's a doubleheader at Great American Ballpark. When we get back on the other side of the break, I'll tell you all about the dates, times, and everything like that and how to get tickets. But that's huge. I think that's really neat.
You know, Kentucky and Cal Perry, they went up and showed the national championship. They got a lot of boos, a lot of backlash to the Reds from other sports fans that are Reds fans as well.
Well, yeah,
Ohio State just did a big thing up there.
Yeah.
Now, this is cool. I'm okay with that. I don't care. I'm a diehard Reds fan.
I think it's
I'm okay with Louisville playing there. It's Louisville. I don't care.
They're going to play in Great American Ballpark.
Cool.
It's really neat.
I sent a tweet out last night, and I deleted it because I got no responses because I have no friends from what we talked about earlier.
Right.
I wonder how many Louisville and Kentucky fans are Reds fans.
I bet it would be 85%.
Cubs are big in here.
Yeah, Cubs
Cardinals
are okay. Cardinals are big.
I would like to know.
But I bet it's 85.
80, 85.
Somewhere
I'm with
there.
you.
I bet it
That's
is.
what I assume too. So I expect there to be an extra amount of red in the Great American Ballpark when that happens. So yeah, you get on the horn, you find out the dates and whatnot. We're going to go to our next break. We'll come back and talk about signing day. We'll recap that a little bit, and we'll get our predictions of today's basketball games. This is the Weekend Sports Buzz. Stick with us.
Welcome back to the Weekend Sports Buzz. Let us know what you think. Give us a call on the Oxmoor Ford Lincoln Buzz Line at 384-1450.
That don't kill me, can only make me stronger. I need you to hurry up now, cause I can't wait much longer.
We're back here at the final segment of the Weekend Sports Buzz. We were talking about the Louisville-Cincinnati baseball game when we ended last segment, Mark, and you're not happy.
I'm pretty upset right now. I'm honestly upset. Okay, first of all, just to get it out there, it's $11.
Cheap.
It's a Saturday.
Awesome.
It's at Great American Ballpark.
Better.
Following a Reds National Series that's actually was really entertaining all last year.
1 versus 2 teams last year in NL.
At 1 o'clock on a Saturday.
Awesome.
Which also happens to be the same Saturday that the Final Four is.
Beginning.
Yeah, it's the first.
The Louisville game will get first pitch will be about 5:15.
Which is around tip-off of the first Final Four game.
Louisville, you should be okay. So buy these tickets.
If Louisville's in Atlanta, which they should be, you won't be able to do this Great American Ballpark thing.
So maybe you should get
the
push for the Sunday game.
Yeah, but
it's not going to happen.
Not going to happen. So anyway, so that really took a lot of the air on myself. So now you have a silver lining. If Louisville's knocked out of the NCAA tournament early,
go to Cincinnati.
Yeah, what was the word in the silver linings playbook? Excelsior. You just say Excelsior. Now I can go to the Great American Ballpark game.
That's good stuff. I do want to mention this before we talk football just quickly. Game day's on. There's for the Louisville Notre Dame game in South Bend. They just talked about bubble teams. Kentucky was not talked about. They talked UNC, UCLA. Kentucky
so are they saying that Kentucky's like
that was per Larry Glover on Twitter?
Are they going to the CBI then?
You shut up, Mark. You just shut up. Let's talk National Signing Day for last segment here. I'm going to start with Kentucky because they're awesome and they had a better class.
I don't think they had a better class.
They had a better class.
No, they didn't.
I mean, numbers, they had a better class.
Actually,
22 guys, all
fine.
21 commitments signed. They got, obviously, the addition of Jason Hatcher late in the evening to make it 22, a great class, a top 30 class. You could see Stoops did say, I expect another guy or two to be on this, which could bump them up, but maybe a top 25. Yes, I believe it's 13th in the SEC. You can't really compete against there's six of the top 10 ranked classes are SEC. Then obviously there's 5 more before Kentucky. It's just dumb. Kentucky would have the number 1 class in the Big East. They'd have no worse than the 4th or 5th in every other conference of recruiting. It's a great step in the right direction.
It's a really good class, but it's not better than Louisville's. If you look at the ratings per star, Louisville's had a 3 average.
Kentucky's over 3.
Kentucky's at 2.1.
It all depends on which outlet you will go
I'll look at
with.
each outlet, and Louisville will be higher rated in every single outlet. And the only reason why this class is rated higher than Louisville is because they got more players.
Louisville has a very good class. Kentucky has a very good class.
Kentucky got great players.
In 56 days, Kentucky's class is better than Louisville's.
I don't know about that.
If Mark Stoops, which he's starting with on Thursday with the new year, he's got a full year for 2014, and it's going to be a great one. But that's not here or there. It's huge.
But it's not.
Jason Hatcher, great commitment, one of the best defensive ends in the country.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one. Ryan Timmons out of Franklin County High School, a big one to keep him home. You go to Alex Montgomery, who during the show they said is possibly the biggest steal out of this whole class for anybody. Alex Montgomery. Then you go to JoJo Kemp, the running back. You have
JoJo. I like that.
It sounds good.
If they got a KC in this one, then we'd have wedding music for the next 4 years.
We got a Zadarius Smith. That's kind of cool.
But
JoJo Kemp, he's going to be good at the running back. You got Jaleel Heitch, one of the better cornerbacks in the country. He's very fast. What I saw the speed. That's what I like to see. They got a lot of speed in this class.
I really liked what Mark Stoops did in a short period of time, putting this class together and kind of really just holding it down for the entire 2 months that he's been employed at the University of Kentucky. I think he's done a great job of getting in on guys that he could actually get in a short amount of time, and he went after a couple home runs that he didn't land. But I think the only thing that this class really lacked was that top quarterback that kind of pushes Kentucky over the edge. But I think
they're okay though, because
on campus.
Like you've mentioned though, before the season even ended, the cupboard's not bare.
It's not bare,
and the quarterback position is one position. It's not bare with Towles and Max Smith. Obviously, it's not bare at all. I'm excited about that. A guy I didn't even mention, Javis Blue. Depending on who you look at, he's a top wide receiver out of junior college, top 5 receiver out of junior college. He's a very talented kid. He's fast. I'm excited. Big Blue Nation is excited, as they should be. It's the first step in changing of the program, changing of the guard, and it's huge. You got to start somewhere. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, you're still not good." Well, guess what? 2-3 years, you keep this up. Look what Louisville did in 3 years.
Yeah,
I know it's a different conference, and it's a little bit harder, obviously.
If Kentucky plays a lot of these guys year one, which they're probably going to have to,
yep.
then the record isn't going to be that great but it will be a great step in the right direction, if that makes any sense at all.
You know, like Larry Glover mentioned, Mark Stoops told Jason Hatcher, we are going to win a bowl game next year.
I don't think they will.
I don't think
they're going to go to a bowl game.
That's just getting there will be tough, but if they won 5 games and if they got to that 6 mark, outstanding job.
I think so too.
I could put him up for Coach of the Year.
He could be. I mean, you could definitely argue that. Because UK's
going
to run the spread, and they're going to do the air raid or whatever.
Going to have offense.
And they're going to have offense, and it's all going to be about that offensive line and defense.
Like, that's what's going to take 2 or 3 years to build, and that's okay with me.
Yeah.
Kentucky fans, myself included, we just got to be patient.
Right.
I know it's been patient forever.
Yep.
We're trying to, but this seems to be real. I hope so. Let's flip it over for the final couple minutes here. The Louisville side of things, Mark. You're excited?
I'm very excited. This is a need-filling class. I mean, they went and got James Quick. They didn't need a receiver in this class.
He could play immediately.
But exactly. So like James Quick's so good that they didn't need a receiver, but they went ahead and made him a priority. You know what I mean? Because you don't have a player like that in your backyard. They also didn't need a running back, so they didn't sign one. Mm-hmm. They did need quarterback.
Kyle Bowen.
Kyle Bowen, Brett Nelson.
Neither of those are the Teddy Bridgewaters. I don't care.
No.
I know Kyle Bowen's a 4-star. He's still not Teddy.
He could end up, in a couple years being extremely
not Teddy though.
No, I mean Teddy is once in a 20-year guy.
Exactly. He is.
So yeah, there's not a Teddy Bridgewater, probably even in college football. Okay, so let's just be real.
Yeah, there are.
All right, then you got Dejon Richardson, extremely good defensive tackle. Keith Tobridge, Louisville need tight ends. They had problems at tight end all year. They had to move defensive players over on the offensive side of the ball. B.J. Butler and Jalen Harrington over to tight end because of the depth issue. Keith Tobridge played right away. Then you got Chucky Williams, and then you got Richard Benjamin. This is a guy who could play right away as a freshman.
No, I did see Louisville. They had all commitments signed, as did Kentucky. Mm-hmm. They did miss out on a guy or two that they thought was going to maybe flip to Louisville. A guy chose South Florida for one.
Yeah, there was a couple guys like Lamar Robbins. Excuse me. They thought they could have flipped him from South Florida commitment at the last minute. That didn't happen. There was also this guy that committed to Florida State. He was a linebacker. I believe his name was Hoskins. And then there was also Jermaine Grace, who committed to Miami and kept his commitment to Miami. So there was a couple that they thought that they could get. I also don't think that this class for Charlie Strong is finished. He's got 2 scholarships out there that he can still
he'll
give
definitely
away
get them if he wants them.
If he wants them. One of the best recruiting stories that Charlie Strong told during his press conference was about Finesse Middleton, who's actually already enrolled on campus.
Great name.
He'll be, yes. So he went to a camp that Finesse
camp?
Yes. Finesse is a defensive end, and Charlie Strong went to a camp that Finesse was at, and he wanted to see offensive tackles go against Finesse because he said, if any offensive lineman could put hands on Finesse, I'll extend a scholarship to that offensive tackle. And that's what happened in the case of Cameron Frazier.
I would dive and just smack him.
That's what
I touched him, Coach.
That's how we got Cameron Frazier, because he's the only guy who could really block Finesse at this camp, because Finesse Middleton is an extremely effective pass rusher and can also play right away.
So basically, I think we can both agree, and both coaches have said it. They got what they needed. Both teams got what they needed. Kentucky, a few extras with the talent level, and the initial step to what he wants to do. It was a very successful signing day, not only for Kentucky, for Louisville, and Western Kentucky.
And Western. They signed 30 players.
Bobby Petrino's going to get it done.
Yeah.
They're going to go to a bowl game very soon.
Oh, they're going to go right away.
I can see Bobby sticking
Middle
around.
Tennessee's going to Conference USA next year. And so
it's Western's conference.
Yeah.
With Bobby. While Bobby's
Western
there.
Western should win next year for sure. They should win the Sun Belt. We'll see what happens with the record.
Adrian Bushell. I wanted to mention this.
Bushell.
Sorry, Bushell. I always say that for some reason because I got the redneck hunter my Bushell,
okay.
but binoculars.
I understand.
Okay, well, Adrian Bushell, he received an NFL Combine invite. That's
cool.
Which
is great for him. I was very surprised to not see Mario Benavides get an invite.
That's weird. He's one of the best centers in the country.
If you look at NFL draft websites, which there's about 8 of them, he's anywhere from 2 to 8th in the centers. So I would imagine. So he's
Somebody
second best or all the way to 8th.
Maybe just they already know. Maybe
well, there's gonna be pro day, and a lot of players get drafted out of pro day, like Greg Scruggs.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think he's gonna be. I would pick him in the 3rd or 4th round if I needed a center, but he could go all the way down to 6th or 7th round. So it's a center position where a lot of it's very specialized. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be one of those things that I think he's an NFL player, and if he can't play center, he can play guard, and I think he should definitely get a shot in the NFL.
ESPN graded Kentucky's recruiting for this year. They gave him a B-.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with that. First-year step. It was tied last in grades for the SEC.
What was it last year?
I don't remember.
F?
Probably.
Yeah.
So it's a huge upgrade. He said positives. They missed out on 1 or 2 guys, like you mentioned, that they wanted, the bigger-time guys. But other than that, it was a great class.
Yeah, I thought if Asante Willard went to Kentucky over UCLA, that would have pushed the class over the the top.
None of us, we always say, "Oh, come on, Willard, come to UK." He didn't even have an offer.
Really?
Didn't have an offer. He knows. I believe it was Jeff Drummond. He was the one that mentioned on Twitter that he didn't have an offer. Kentucky stopped recruiting him.
Really?
So it was basically UCLA or Clemson. UCLA to me was out of nowhere. I didn't. I guess I didn't. He took a visit. Supposedly, throughout his comments, everybody could tell right away.
I wonder if that's an attitude thing or personality deal.
Maybe he just didn't fit to what they want to do.
Maybe not.
Maybe he's not the air raid type of quarterback that they want.
Not.
They want to dust off those sirens. A couple other quick hitters here. A lot of NBA Kentucky players involved in the All-Star festivities. Eric Bledsoe's in the Nut Contest. You have BBVA Rising All-Stars games. Knight, Davis, Kid Gilchrist. A couple others there as well.
The North Texas part of the bracket, by the way, we didn't have anybody call in. Yeah. Was Arlington, Texas, which is basically Dallas or Fort Worth.
Right
it's
outside.
In the middle.
Yeah.
It's right in the middle between Dallas and Fort Worth.
Why
not just say that?
Because North Texas is cooler, Mark.
No, it's
Rajon Rondo to be reevaluated, but kind of looked at again to see what he needs to route.
Healthy.
They expect him maybe to be back earlier, which would be cool.
As long as he's healthy, I'm good with that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want him going out too soon.
Okay, we got 5 minutes here. Adam, on our document, can you pull up in the random news section the Duke fans chant? We're going to play that.
Ooh, yes.
We're going to play that because it was controversy over the last couple of days.
Yeah. How's your grandma or past your bedtime?
I listened to it a few times. The first time I heard past your bedtime.
I haven't heard the audio.
But then at the second and third time, I hear "Where's your grandma?" So maybe as soon as they get that pulled up, we'll play that. It's a quick little thing there.
It's been a major.
It's Tyler Lewis's. He plays for NC State. I actually got to see him play at the Derby game. He was here. Mike Gandolfo.
His grandma just died.
His grandma just passed away, and Duke fans are known to go over the line, and it seems that Coach K usually steps on, will stop the game and say stop.
Right.
But he didn't do it this time, and people were trying to cover it up, saying it was past your bedtime. Well, a guy who was in the student section, a graduate of Duke, said this is the worst I've ever heard. The chant was real. It was said.
Right. But a lot of the other bloggers are saying that it didn't happen.
Let's find out. Here, let's let you hear it.
I want to hear it. I've never heard it.
We had it. There goes Tyler Lewis driving down the paint, little jump shot, and he gets the foul. Now, they're playing at Duke. You can watch this on livesportscaster.com. We have the live video where you can actually see what's going on. You have Tyler Lewis going to the free throw line for NC State right now. It was a blowout game, middle of the second half, 72-54. Here it goes. Now, you can hear it a little better on the second free throw.
On the second free throw?
Yeah.
Okay.
The first one, it's kind of a hint.
It's okay, Dan. You're a man ahead of your time.
Yes.
What do you think?
The first free throw, I heard past your bedtime.
Yep.
The second free throw, I heard how's your grandma.
So maybe both.
I think past your bedtime was the first chant.
Yep.
How's your grandma was the second chant.
That's pathetic.
And that's pretty bad. Honestly, I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. Duke has never been everybody always puts Duke on a pedestal like there's some anointed thing, and that self-anointing oftentimes puts you in a place where you can do really ignorant things. Duke does that a lot, and nobody ever calls them on it. And I think that they said,
that's bad.
How's your grandma? To a kid whose grandma had just passed away.
And when they initially started saying it, they had Tyler Lewis's face, and he was like, it kind of dropped. Like, you could kind of tell. Whoa, really?
Yeah. and then just
it's
nailed
just
the free
this is
throw.
pathetic.
But
just pathetic.
Duke has been long. I mean, always like they get all this
They're not even
credit
sports
for being
fans.
classy and everything. They're not. They're not.
They're
classy.
a magnet college school is what they are.
They literally sued the University of Louisville, or no, the U of L sued Duke back in the day
For canceling
a football season. Their argument was we're the worst football team in the country, that any replacement would be adequate. I don't know. I think I look at Coach K. He's always crying. He's always talking to the officials. He gets
Nobody will say that.
He gets
Nobody will say
every call.
Nope.
He gets every call.
They hand check more in Louisville.
And he's still complaining.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're getting every call and you're still complaining, and you have fans in the stands saying, "How's your grandma?" And I don't know, I'm sorry.
Reality check, fellas.
I just don't like Duke. I don't like anything about him. If you went there, you sent your kid to school there, I think that you've done the wrong thing. I realize it's probably a great academic reputation, but they don't teach character.
Nope.
Because I've never met a person from Duke that graduated from Duke that has any sort of level of groundness. You know what I mean? Like, they're not humble. I don't like them, and I think they should go away.
Great ending to the show. We all hate Duke at Kentucky and Louisville. We can agree on that. Great show. Thanks to Larry Glover Live, Brent Adams. Tomorrow, myself and Kelly Patrick will get it going. Thanks for listening. D Huff and Nasty coming up next. It's the Weekend Sports Buzz.
Yeah.